What's up, Rational? I'm on late or early, man. I'm on early. You think I'm on late, man. That's because you're in crazy upside down world. That's why. Yeah, everybody, welcome. What's up, my YouTube friends and world? How are you guys doing tonight? So, hey, I'm going to try to jump in right away here so I don't go on and on in the beginning. Then I got to cut these up videos later, but make sure this little banner right down in this region that's going on, and then when I switch, it'll be up in this region somewhere. Check out those little different spots that I have a channel or a presence, and please go subscribe. And I don't really push my Patreon or Subscribe Star. If there's anybody out there that feels so inclined, I am going to start putting up clips of like songs and outtakes and things like that on my Patreon. I just haven't got around to doing it yet, but it'd be cool if you guys want to subscribe, but I'm not too worried about it right now. Anyways, man, always so much in the news recently. Is this not, am I correct on this? I'm correct on this. It's kind of a rhetorical question, but yeah, the shooting that happened in Gilroy, I want to touch a little more on the Baltimore comments. I was going to do a video on it yesterday when the video came out. I just found a video that was like, I don't think I've seen anybody else doing it, where Bernie was being interviewed on CNN, and it was so ridiculous, the hypocrisy. And I found some interesting points on it that I'll discuss with you when we go through the video. And then Judd Aptow, he said something that a lot of the stupid celebrities are saying right now. But he said it, and I just thought I would, point his ridiculous hypocrisy out. We're going to point some hypocrisy out and some double standards tonight. But I thank everybody for coming in and hanging out. And don't forget to say hello in the chat. And if we get enough people in here and there's enough interest going on, maybe we'll even open up a phone line later. It kind of works. So we'll see how we feel. Got Rational there. Good to see you, man. He's the only one showing himself in the chat right now. But let's jump in here while I got a few people on here. Stick around here. We're not going to do it. We're going to try to stay on task tonight and just kind of hit some of these articles. So, oh, there's me. That's not the one I wanted to do. I think I wanted to go right here. Yeah, that's the one I wanted right there. And what we're going to do is we're going to make this big screen for everybody out there. It just looks prettier. You know what I mean? Jacob Porter. Hey, what's up? This is Gator. What's up, Gator? It's not Jacob Porter. That must be your brother or your friend's phone you're using. Sweet. Well, glad to have you here, Gate. Gate and Rational, man. My two guys that are always here because they're awesome. So I don't know if you guys got a chance. Hang on a second, too. I'm soft. I got to turn the air conditioning on. 1 second. There we go. We're just going to have to put up that in the background because it's about 85 degrees here in Portland, and in my little studio doesn't have much airflow in it, so it gets hot as mansicles in here. Your boss's phone. Cool, man. Right on. All right, guys. So, I don't know if you guys got a chance to see this interview that was done by, I forget what this turd's name is, but he's a CNN turd. Anyways, I don't know if you guys got to watch this one, but let's watch this here. I have a few little comments to make on it. We're just going to dive right in.
Joining me now in Detroit, 2020 presidential candidate, Senator Bernie Sanders. And Senator Sanders, I know you want to talk about issues, but I do also want to talk about what President Trump said about your former colleague in the House, Elijah Cummings, and his...
Again, this went on Sunday, I believe, Sunday morning.
District being, quote, a disgusting rat and rodent infested mess that no human being would want to live in. What's your response?
Jake, it's unbelievable that we have a president of the United States who attacks American cities, who attacks Americans, who attacks somebody who's a friend of mine. Elijah Cummings is one of the most decent and outstanding members of the House of Representatives. He fights every day to improve life in his community.
Super decent.
I do find it interesting that when we have rural Republican districts, the life expectancy is going down, where downtowns are boarded up.
Okay,
and people
here's
are
what I
struggling.
want to point out.
And people are struggling in rural America.
Right.
They're struggling in urban
Right.
America. They're struggling in suburban America.
Right.
Our job is to bring people together
Right.
to improve life for all people, not to be have a racist president who attacks people
There it is.
because they are African Americans.
Okay.
That is a disgrace, and
Right.
that is why we're going to defeat this president.
Okay. No, you're not.
He obviously
But here's the thing. Did you see how quickly he jumped off of that train? He jumped off of that accusation train. Did you see how quickly that happened? How he just made a quick little blurb, even though the banner underneath here, wherever it is saying how Trump attacks Cummings, calls Baltimore district infested. He could have ranted on that for a while. But you know what, Bernie's smart enough to know? That wouldn't have been real good because we have this thing called Google. We have this thing called the internet of sorts, right? So he didn't say a whole lot more on that. Do you want to know why he didn't say a whole lot more on that? Well, here's why he didn't say a whole lot more on that. And he didn't really go into how terrible and racist. He did drop the R word, but he didn't go into how terrible and racist old President Trumpsky is because he realized he said something. That's loud. He said something that's kind of interesting himself. We're going to watch that right now.
The crowded tour through West Baltimore, clearly an eye.
This was a year ago, I believe, something like that, or maybe a couple years ago, back when he was running for president. Maybe it was 3 years ago. This is what old Bernie said about Baltimore. Here we go.
Opener for Vermont Senator
Look at all that background he has going on there.
Bernie Sanders.
What are your impressions as you walk our city?
Well, one would not know that you're living in the wealthiest country in the history of the world.
Really?
What you look at is what would a third world country look like. And it's a
What you're looking at is what a third world country would look like. Well, what does a third world country look like there, Bernie? It looks like it has trash laying in the streets, right? It has, because there's trash laying in the streets, rats and rodents are running around and eating that trash and making more little baby rats and rodents, right? And they just infest because like rats and rabbits and rodents have one thing in common. They multiply really quickly and cause an infestation. So what Bernie is saying right now is Baltimore looks like a third world country. It looks like a third world country. It looks like a rat and a rodent infested country. That's what Bernie said. But see, Bernie didn't want to stay on that subject too long in this interview, which was, let's just say, this was back in December 2015. He said this stuff. He didn't want to say too much right now because right now Trump actually called out. He used a little more trolly lingo when he said it. He used a little more inflammatory, I guess you could say. He called it as he saw it. He used a little more blue collar language and he called it out. And what he called out is he called out a person that this guy right here, old Bernster, said was his good friend, Elijah Cummings. Well, here's the interesting part about Elijah Cummings. And we all know this, and I ranted on this last Saturday, whatever it was when I covered this. Elijah Cummings has been the representative for this Baltimore district since 1996. 1996. And it is still 3 years later, and prior to that, a rat-infested, crappy-ass shit mess. That's what it is. Now, just like Trump didn't say anything about anybody, he wasn't making any references to any people in general, right, of saying it's the black people's fault, it's the residents and the minorities' faults there that have made it a third world country, equivalent to a third world country, as Bernie would say, or a rat-infested, rodent-infested mess. He just said, hey, Elijah, instead of you burning on all the Border Patrol agents and on what's going on at the border, which you guys incidentally also helped to create, that I was speaking against and saying there was a crisis and we needed to do something down on the border. But since you are ripping on the old Border Patrol or the Border Patrol agents and the conditions down on the border, hey, how about you worry about your shithole Baltimore districts? How about that? That's what he was saying. He was speaking to Elijah Cummings and saying, you've been there since 1996 and your district is shitty. It is shitty. And you should probably fix that up a little bit and take care of that because it's a big crap hole mess. That's what he was saying. And it's just so interesting because that's what Bernie said 2-3 years prior, right? But at that time, Bernie wasn't called a racist, was he? No, he was surrounded by all of these black representatives and so on and so forth, and walking around looking so just, concerned about the area and so concerned about the environment there, right? And how long again have you been, been in government, Bernie? How long had you been a senator? Now I know you're in Vermont, but you obviously knew, because it wasn't a big secret, because it's the worst district in America, that these conditions had happened. Where was your outrage and so on and so forth prior to this photo op of yours? But let's go on and let's listen to what some of these people say 3 years ago.
Pretty sad state of affairs.
Pretty sad state of
Sanders
affairs.
tour guides along Pennsylvania
Yes, it
and
is.
North Avenues.
It is a
local
sad state of
clergymen
affairs there.
On a mission.
Thanks to your good buddy, Elijah Cummings. It's a bad state of affair. You nailed it, Bern. You nailed it.
I wanted him to see it as a potential president, the real work
Right.
that has to be done in
Right.
the city.
Right.
The presidential candidate also visited the now infamous area where police arrested Freddie Gray in April.
Right.
It is stunning that we're less than an hour away from the White House and the United.
He looks so concerned, and this guy is a multi-millionaire fake. He is a fake. He wants how much money has been given to that district, to Elijah Cummings, for his to clean up that area. A lot of money, and it hasn't cleaned it up. And what does this guy want to do? He actually wants to do it to the whole of America. He wants more money so he can have more bureaucracy, and he can have turn all America into a Baltimore.
United States Congress.
We spoke with an undecided
Listen to this guy.
voter watching the scene unfold.
Okay, this undecided voter, what is his concern? This is a dude who lives there in this third world country, right? This is the dude who lives in the place that the CNN crybaby guy was, cooked up his crocodile tears and acted like he was so offended by what President Trump said. But what President Trump said was, hey, Elijah Cummings, you need to go and work on your district because it's terrible and the people there are in need. People like this dude right here who's an undecided voter and is about ready to speak some truth about what he wants to see happen, right? Instead of calling President Trump a racist because he called out an obvious truth, how about we say, hey, you know what? Props to did I say Reagan? Trump. Props to President Trump for shining a spotlight on this and this terrible, crappy conditions these people live in, and let's do something about it, Elijah. Do something about it. Get your district in order. Let's do something about it. So we're calling him a racist because he called out the truth, when in fact, he's actually the one who should be getting praised for this, because at least he's calling attention to it so that now old Elijah's going to have a little heat on him to get some shiznit cleaned up. Let's listen to what he has to say.
But make changes. We need changes.
Changes.
Are you worried?
Isn't that what Trump said? Make some changes in your own district because it's terrible. President Trump said, hey, Elijah, make some changes in your own district. It's terrible. You've been there since 1996. Don't tell me you haven't had enough time to figure this shiznit out.
This is just sort of a press opportunity?
Exactly.
Right.
Like everyone else.
Yep.
All for the media, Is
Yep.
it going to make a difference?
Religious leaders from
That's all he cared about. Is this going to make a difference of where I live? Are you going to help me not live in a rodent rat infested shithole? That is what that brother was saying. He was saying this is not about partisan this or that, or Trump calling it out, or who's a racist and who isn't. This is who's going to help fix it. So we can go back to this one here and hear a little more what he has to spew. This turd sickle, Bernie.
Obviously thinks that these racist attacks will be effective. Are you concerned
Racist
that
attacks.
they might be?
No, I don't. I think at the end of the day, the American people understand.
What we understand at the end of the day, Mr. Bernie, is that the only one making this about race is the one on the left. Those on the left, those over at the Clown News Network, right? They're the ones, and all the left-wing media, they're the ones making this about race. Trump calling a truism and calling it out is not making it about race. He never once mentioned race. So how could this be about race? Who made it about race? Who's more racist? The one who says, who doesn't care, who, isn't walking on eggshells if somebody is black or brown or of a different race, and he's just calling it out as he sees it. Who sees that person as a more equal, right? Somebody who just calls it out and ignores the color of their skin and just says, you got a problem and you need to fix it. Or the people who says, you called out a problem that needs to be fixed, and there's black people that are representing that problem. That's racist. Who's the racist in that scenario?
That whether you're black, whether you're white, whether you're Latino, Asian American, Native American, what we need is an agenda that works for all of us and not have a president who divides us up. We need health care for all. We need to lower the cost of prescription drugs. We need to make public colleges, universities tuition free.
See what he's doing right now? He's going into his whole spiel, right, of everything we need to do. Meanwhile, Trump attacks Cummings, calls Baltimore district infested. It's like, that's what the guy originally wanted to kind of talk about a little more. And Bernie was quick off we're not even a minute 28 in. He was off that subject in a matter of just seconds. Like, well, I just think it's really bad he would say that. Meanwhile, 3 years ago, he said the same exact damn thing. Hypocrisy! Hypocrisy!
We need to cancel student debt. The American people are behind those issues. They will not accept a president trying to divide us up by the color of our skin or where we were born.
Who is trying to divide us up on the color of our skin or where we were born? Who's doing that? It isn't Donald Trump. It isn't Donald Trump doing that. You crusty old fartsicle, man. He is not doing that. You are doing that, and all of your crony ilk are doing that. And it's all you've been doing for the last 3 years since President Trump has been in office. That's all you guys do, is you throw around the R word all the time. Meanwhile, you guys are the worst offenders of being racists. You're being this camouflage racist, which is way worse. You're pulling out these subtleties and trying to ramp them up and manipulate people for your own good. You don't give a crap. This dude doesn't give a crap about the American people. He gives a crap about power. That's all he cares about.
Let's talk about one of those issues specifically. You and other 2020 Democrats are going to be debating on the stage just steps from where we are right now. Your Medicare for All plan will be front and center, no doubt. Senator Kamala Harris says she supports it and she will not raise taxes on middle-class Americans to fund it. I want you to take a listen to what former Vice President Joe Biden had to say about that.
Well, I find that people will say that for Medicare for all, but they're not going to tax the middle class because we don't need to do that. Come on. What is this?
Okay. Old creepy Joe here speaking some truth right now. He's saying, come on, guys. You're saying you're not going to have to tax the middle class like Kamala Harris and whatnot. We're not going to have to tax the middle class, but we're going to give Medicare for all. Come on. That's a fairy tale.
Fantasy world here?
So now,
do you agree with Vice President Biden?
So now the old Bernster, who in the past has said we're not going to tax middle class people, right? Now he's flip-flopping a little bit. He's flip-flopping, and listen what he has to say. Sorry, we're off the Baltimore thing. We're just going to play this one out for a minute. Stick with me.
Biden, that Senator Harris.
Well, I think the first thing that we have to understand is under Medicare for all, similar to what Canada has, people are not going to pay any premiums. They're not going to pay any deductibles. They're not going to pay any co-payments. So if you call a premium a tax, we're getting rid of that. But I do believe that in a progressive way, people will have to pay taxes. The wealthy will obviously pay the lion's share of those taxes. But at the
Okay, sorry about that. I'm too loud. I'm too quiet. All right, I pulled that up. Sorry, could you guys hear it, or was everything for naught?
end of the day, the vast majority of the American people will pay substantially less for the health care that they now receive because we're going to do away with hundreds of billions of dollars of administrative waste. We're going to do away with the incredible profiteering of the insurance companies and the drug companies. So people will be paying, in some cases, more in taxes, but overall, because they're not going to pay premiums, deductibles, co-payments.
Okay, so here's his magic math
for their health care.
So is Vice President Biden correct that anybody who says Medicare for all is going to happen, but we're not going to raise taxes on anybody or on the middle class,
no, I think
is a fantasy world?
Well, obviously, health care is not free. Right now, we pay through premiums and out-of-pocket expenses. In Canada, it's paid through taxes. We'll have to do that.
A senior aide.
So he just said, real quickly, with his magic math of saying, well, we're going to lower, you're not going to have to pay your premiums, which are, $12,000 a year. And we're going to raise your taxes $8,000 a year. So ultimately, you're in the gold. You're $4,000 a year in the positive. First off, not everybody pays $12,000 a year. There's a lot of people that don't pay anything, and then they're even with the middle class, right, with what they're paying out of pocket, doesn't reach $12,000 a year. So maybe somebody who doesn't have medical through their employer could be paying those upper rates. But why is that? Why has it skyrocketed? It's because of Obamacare. That's why rates have skyrocketed for people. So what they've tried to do is put the pain on people with Obamacare so that they can just say, hey, this isn't really working. This hurts too much for everybody. Well, let's just let the government take care of it. We're going to raise your middle class taxes by $8,000 a year, almost $1,000 a month, right? $750 or whatever that works out to a month. We're going to raise it by that much money a month, your taxes. But then what you're not going to have to pay for your Medicare or your medical. So you're going to save all that money. So really you'll have more money in the long run. Meanwhile, we're going to have a degraded piece of crap, rodent infested medical care system, healthcare system. Your quality of care is going to go through the pooper. And if you don't think that's true, look around, man. It is true. Your quality of your quality of care is going to go to the pooper. The pooper, the white porcelain throne. That's where your quality of care is going to go.
To former Vice President Biden is laying out his campaign's debate strategy in a new memo that they issued this weekend. The strategist writes, quote, he's going to draw a contrast where there are policy disagreements in the field, like on health care. Booker, Gillibrand, Harris, and Warren all have signed on to Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All plan, which means higher taxes on the middle class. Right. That's a non-starter for Joe Biden. Now, you're not going to be on the stage with him because of the luck of the draw.
But you see, that is disingenuous on the part of Joe. Yeah, it's going to mean
just
higher
like
taxes.
Everything you say is disingenuous there, Bernster.
If I raise your taxes, say, hypothetically, by $8,000, and I lower the health care costs that you're now paying with premiums and deductibles, which are now $12,000, you're $4,000 to the good. We are the only major country on earth that does not guarantee health care to all, or in one form or another have a national health care program. So we, under a Medicare for All, are going to substantially lower prescription drug costs. We're going to do away with the incredible complexity.
They're going to substantially lower health care quality of health care also.
And bureaucracy and waste in the current system. But at the end,
he just said bureaucracy. We're gonna get rid of bureaucracy. How do you think you run a national healthcare system with 350 million people? You have to have a big old ass bureaucracy system to run that. You're gonna need major planning and administration to run that. You're going to create a whole nother layer of bureaucracy we haven't even seen. How is the bureaucracy doing, and how is the muddling of the VA program working out with 9 million people on it? How's that one working out? How's the Medicare and Medicaid for all working out with a total of, you take Medicare, Medicaid, and VA, it's somewhere around 50 million, 60 million people are on it. And the care pretty much is not good, right? Now you're going to take care of 350 million people under the same kind of government-run program, and then meanwhile you're going to promote open borders. You're going to promote open borders and letting letting illegals in at a uncontrolled rate, and you're going to offer free medical now and free healthcare benefits to all the illegal citizens or illegal. The illegals that are coming in, You're going to do that? So now we're up what? Maybe 380, whatever it is, maybe closer to 400 million. Not to take into account the population increase, right? It doesn't work out, guys. It doesn't work. And I know I'm talking to a lot of people who know this, but it's seriously laughable. I'll get to you guys' comments in just a second too. I want to read them.
At the end of the day, again, you may pay more in taxes. You're not paying premiums. You're not paying co-payments. You're not paying deductibles.
Yeah.
You will pay less for your health care cost than you're currently paying right now.
And you think Vice President Biden knows that?
Of course he knows it. Nobody, every study out there tells us that Medicare for All will save substantial sums of money. Last year, the drug companies made $69 billion in profit at the same time as 1 out of 5 Americans can't afford the medicine that they need. So you're seeing massive profiteering on the part of the healthcare industry. You're seeing
dork's name.
just incredible bureaucracy and
Yeah,
waste.
bureaucracy
Anybody
and
who
waste.
deals with an insurance company understands the kind
And
of
we're going to get
bureaucracy.
less bureaucracy and waste, not race. We're going to get less bureaucracy and waste if we let the government try to take care of everybody. That's insanity. That's just insanity. Okay, let's read a couple of these and then go to my next little main one with chat. We can do it there. Read a couple of these chats and then we're going to go to the next little Delioski that I want to talk about. Okay. I'm going to go up here and read a couple here. Volume is okay for me. No buffering. My bro asked if you were make Antifa go away. Yeah, that's funny. Gator said his brother asked if I was the make Antifa go away. Yep, that's me. Bernie Sanders is quiet for me also on the Bluetooth speaker. Okay, sorry guys. I think I figured that out now. We don't need to hear him too loud anyways. Rational said, in an era where ideological propaganda reigns supreme, speaking the truth is considered hateful. Yep. Yeah, calling somebody, Gator said, calling somebody a racist for pointing out terrible living conditions and horrible communities is no fucking way racist. Bernie was a tad quiet. Oh, sorry, I got that figured out. Bernie pivots away from the subject that could unravel on his own power grab. Yep, that's exactly right. I guess Bernie doesn't know how to use a tie-tie. Randy has one on. Well, it's Jake Tapper, but yeah. How debates with two Democrats have before the election? 18, if one a month. I think you meant to say, how many debates are we going to have with the Democrats have before the election? 18, one a month? Yeah, it's probably going to be something like that. They'll probably narrow it down as they go on a little more because they're probably going to have to try to keep some of those people off the stage because they'll just sink them. It says, Rational says, Australia's universal healthcare system is imploding. No docs want to work in rural areas. Prices are astronomical. Waiting periods for emergency or basic healthcare are increasing. Just like in the UK. It kind of is the UK. It's the, Australia is a poor part of the UK, right? Am I right on that? Am I right? Am I wrong? But you're right. My sister lived over in the UK forever and said the healthcare over there is atrocious. You wait hours in emergency, days for a doctor in some places, and years for dental. Great system. Coming from a guy who's actually living it, right? These are the people we should be interviewing, not these turds who just want to get a vote by telling people what they want to hear, right? By actually people who actually are living these situations. That's who we need to be talking to and listening to. Democrats feel and then think in that order, and their feelings control their thoughts. Very good point, Gator. Very good point. Okay, so my next thing I wanted to touch on was, touched out, right? I'm clicking through what I have up here. Oh, okay, well, so the shooting in Gilroy. Okay. So here's the thing on the Gilroy shooting. As you can see, it's already starting to come out. The guy was in some ways connected as a white supremacist, right? Or he had pointed people to some fascist, white supremacist manifestos online through his Instagram before he went in and he shot up a bunch of people, killed a few people, which is horrible, horrendous, and terrible. He bought the gun legally. He smuggled it into a gun-free zone, by the way, but he smuggled it into an area, and then he killed a whole bunch of innocent people. And now it's being, California's already on the roll right now because it fits their narrative so great. It fits their narrative so great that this was a white kid who is a fascist, racist, manifesto who wanted to kill people. But what they also don't point out is that he also hated people in Silicon Valley. That he hated, he called white people, I forget what he said in this article, but he denigrated white people also. He just was angry and he didn't like people. So he got a gun, he put bullets in it, and then he used that tool, which was a gun, to do heinous things to people. It fits the narrative, so they're trying to push it right now, and they're trying to get gun control and everything else out of it. What about the STEM shooting that happened a few months back, right, in Colorado? Where it didn't get near the play. It didn't get near the play as any of these other shootings, right? The STEM shooting in Colorado. Why? Because it was two transgendered kids that were registered Democrats who were, I believe, had ties to Antifa that went in and were shot up and killed, killed a couple people and wounded about 8 people. That didn't get hardly any play because, again, it didn't fit the narrative, right? It was still a gun that shot bullets with a handgun in that scenario, too. Here, the guy used an AK-47. But he used a handgun, and it was a bunch of, very confused, leftist-leaning dirtbags that did that one. So it didn't get much play. It got a little bit of airtime, but not nearly as much airtime as I think this one's going to get. And the narrative was hardly ever talked about that they were transgendered, really, and that they were Democrats, right? And all of that gets pushed aside. The motives were, all the articles you first read as motives were unclear. Motives were unclear for the longest time. Motives were unclear. Here, we're digging down into his Instagram where he made a post directing people to read some stuff on some white supremacy things, and the motive's clear. Now all of a sudden more motive comes into, they're already assigning and attributing motive to it. It is such an absolute crap show. And then, I was listening to American Joe earlier. Shout out to American Joe. If you guys aren't checked out his channel, go check it out. He talked about what happened just a few days ago in Japan. Did people hear about this in Japan? Where a guy went into an anime studio, dumped a whole bunch of gas over everybody and over the whole spot, threw gas on everybody. I don't know how he did it, but he sprayed gas on people, sprayed gas on a place and lit a match and killed 34 people and wounded critically 30 people, right? So why isn't that all over the media, just like the Christtown shooting was? The Christtown shooting didn't have anything to do with America, didn't have anything to do with, wasn't any American involved. And this scumbag went in and killed 51 Muslims, and it's all we hear about for 3 weeks, right? And New Zealand changes their gun laws, and they do a buyback program, which I think up to this point 30 or 40 guns have been turned in, right, out of millions of people there that have weapons and guns. There's been 30 of them that have been actually turned in. But they have this gun buyback program, which is basically the first step is that you come in and you get some money, and if that doesn't work, we come with guns to your house and we take your guns. So, but the Christtown shooting got so much play all around the world. It's just the buzz. That's all we heard about, right? Because it fit the narrative. White guy with a gun killing Muslims. So it got all the play in the world. If we're just talking about lives, right? That's what we're talking about. People's losing their lives to some cray-cray out there. Well, then why didn't Japan, this anime deal in Japan where a guy walked in and threw gas all over everybody and burnt them, killed 34, 35 people and wounded 30 people very severely. How come that hasn't got as much play? That just happened a few days ago. The 20th or something like that. It happened July 20th. And it doesn't get any airtime. I didn't hear about it till I heard about it from American Joe. And he heard about it from one of his subs on his channel. Pretty interesting how if it doesn't fit the narrative, they don't talk about it because of hypocrisy. So the theme tonight we're talking about is hypocrisy. We first talked about old Bernie's hypocrisy, right? Now we're talking about this hypocrisy when it comes to guns. I will stand by this statement and I will say it till I'm in the grave. Guns don't kill people, people kill people. People use guns to kill people, but guns in and of themselves do not kill people, right? We don't blame cars when drunk drivers get behind a wheel and they kill people. We don't say, we got to ban cars. We don't blame fire like what happened in Japan when some crazy loon comes in there and throws gas on people and tosses a match. We don't ban matches. We don't ban gasoline, right? We don't ban those things. But and fire and so on and so forth. We don't ban those things. We don't talk about those things. They killed as many people, killed more. Damn, it killed 30 plus people and it wounded and forever scarred more than a couple, talk about getting wounded by fire. That's way worse than getting shot. A bullet hole, typically, most of the time, you're gonna be okay if you make it through it and you live, unless it catches your spine and you're paralyzed. That'd be a bummer. But most of the time, you're gonna come back okay. Getting burnt, melting your skin, that doesn't just heal and go away. Here's another funny thing about the whole hypocrisy stuff. What happened about when the shooting happened with the congressmen and the senators, a couple years back in Washington, D.C., right? That was instigated by a registered staunch Democrat who was being fueled by the left-wing media and the left-wing's agenda of hate against the Republicans. That got some airtime, definitely, because of who got shot and whatnot. But I didn't hear nearly as much about and I'm sure it happened, but I didn't hear as much about the gun control issue on that. And it happened in a place that has some of the most stringent gun laws in the country, right? It happened there. So gun laws aren't going to stop these crazies from hurting people. When are we going to just when are we going to just realize that? It isn't about the guns. It's about the crazies. And it's also about the rhetoric that's being pushed onto these crazies by the left-wing media most of the time. These crazy Democrats out there that do not give a crap hole about anything but their agenda, who are the most disingenuous a-holes in the world. Makes my blood boil, man. Makes my blood boil. Yeah, Steve Scalise shooting. Thank you. See if what else anything else. So yeah, I touched on the stem, the bink, the absolute hypocrisy on those. So it's crazy. It's kind of insanity to me. And then I wanted to also touch on one other thing of the theme of the night, which is hypocrisy. And I know I'm cruising through these because I get really verbose and I keep going, and then before you know it's an hour and we've only covered 2 topics. So I'm trying to keep it moving here. But then I'm going to go back and read some of these comments here. This guy here, Judd Aptow, Apatow, whatever, Apatow, maybe. It doesn't really matter what his name is. We are murdering our children by ignoring climate change, just so you know. That's what we're doing. We're murdering our children by ignoring climate change. Left-wing Hollywood director Judd Aptow believes that by ignoring climate change, we are murdering our children. We are murdering our children. It is as simple as that. The president could care less, Apatow said on Monday. And he said this out of a tweet that he read from old Brian Stetler. A number of years from now, Brian Stetler wrote, a number of years from now, how many other important news stories we speak about this week will be as urgent as the temperature of our planet. They always do this too. They really love jumping on the train when we have normal weather cycles that are, definitely weird or definitely out of whack from what we're used to, right? But there's a heat wave, so it's climate change. It's all climate change. We can't tell you what the weather's going to be in 2 weeks, but man, we have a heat wave, and that's because the Earth is warming up, and we're all going to die in 12 years, or I think the most recent thing is possibly even 14 months. The Girls producer and comedian was responding to a tweet shared by CNN's Brian Stetler, which an NPR article was shared. Opinion. Is anything more urgent than the temperature of our planet? ? Read the headline of the opinion piece. Brian Stetler wrote, a number of years from now, how many other important news stories we speak about this week will be as urgent as the temperature of our planet? One possible answer to this urgent rhetorical question is all of them. All of them are going to be important. Certainly if the actual data is to be believed, as opposed to the scaremongering stories at the NPR and CNN, there is nothing remotely abnormal or concerning about the heat waves, such as the recent one in New York, not in the New York, but in New York. It appears that some of Apatow's Twitter followers are either better informed or funnier or more attuned to the liberal Hollywood hypocrisy than he is. I don't know. We are murdering children. It's as simple as that. The president could care less. And this person writes back, I assume you are sitting in an air-conditioned tent and using a solar-powered smartphone to tweet. Again, right? The beautifulness of your two-faced hypocrisy when people have 2 brain cells and they can simply point out that you're a fake. Another person responded to him and says the pro-abortion guy that has killed millions of babies, right? So we're worried about climate change, according to Judd Aptow, of murdering our children. Meanwhile, we're literally murdering our children, and this queef stain comes out and actually, who supports it. This guy is a humongous supporter of pro-choice, right? Yet he says climate change is going to murder our babies, not the actual doctors ripping them out limb by limb. That's not what's going to kill them. What we really should be worried about, what we really should be caring about, is the climate. That's what's going to do us in. That's what's going to do it. It's the climate. It's the CO2. That's murdering our babies, not the doctors sucking them out with a high-powered vacuum cleaner, right? No, not that. That would be weird. Oh man! All right, let's check out some of you guys' chats here. It says. So I'm going to roll back up here a little bit. I don't know. 3 years collusion. They didn't even get a participation trophy. They're devastated. What are you guys talking about here? Okay, left off there with the healthcare things. Great to hear your voice the other day, Gator. Oh, that's sweet. Rational's saying a little hello to Gator, which it was good to hear your voice, man, on the phone. He was one of my first callers in here. I did it the night before, but that night he was the first one. 3 years of collusion, and they didn't even get a participation trophy. They're devastated. Ban bolt cutters. Yeah, Rebel Jack says ban bolt cutters. Exactly. Good point. It was the bolt cutters' fault because that's what got him through the chain link fence with the gun to kill people. So we should ban bolt cutters, just like the UK's banning knives now. Listen to G.G. Allen. Betty listened to G.G. Allen. The Mueller testimony was gold. He summed up the investigation perfectly. Incompetent, bungling, clueless, aimless, equivocal, went nowhere. Gator says that, and they didn't talk about the Antifa terrorist who took the asphalt temperature challenge outside the ICE holding facility, nor the Antifa guy who pulled a guy, probably gun, out at his daughter's school. Good point on that. So I was going to bring that up too, going back to the first story or going back to the Gilroy thing. They praised the Antifa guy who was firebombing the ICE station, right, when he got shot dead. They praised that guy. That guy's a hero, right? He goes in there with propane tanks. I'm not sure. Did he have a gun? It's been a minute here since I feel like he was armed too. Yeah, he was armed. So the armed Antifa dude who had firebombs and was attacking the ICE facility with people inside, mind you, he's a hero, right? But anybody else who does these shootings is a terrible psycho we need to take all guns away from everybody. Not defending either one of those scenarios, right? They are. People who want to kill innocent people are pieces of turds. They're turds. They're turdsicles in the freezer. Turdsicles. Cold. And the other guy that happened here in Springfield, Oregon, actually, he brings up the actual card-carrying Antifa member who went to his daughter's school with a gun with what many people believe was to shoot some people in the office, gets called by the cops, tries to pull the gun on the cops, and the cops, being the highly trained, firearm experts that they are, gave him, introduced him to the room temperature challenge. They put him down, right? But that doesn't get any play. And then a week or two after that, there was IEDs placed around the Springfield Police Department by no other than Antifa. And President Trump, God willing, is going to actually hopefully step up and call these crap holes out for what they are and actually really put it on them. And hopefully that happens, and we get the Antifa the right title given to them that they need, which is a domestic terrorist organization. Rebel Jack, Joe's been trying to bring the right together. He is one of the very, very few. Yeah, he is. He's a good guy. When he had no custodial rights, but trying to take his daughter out of school. Yep. Then Nick says, I've heard that there were over 30 mass shootings in the 2 weeks before Gilroy. They do decide which battles they want to fight. It's exactly right. Exactly right. It'd be interesting to find out what some of these other shootings were about and who carried them out. There's a bit of movement growing now with interconnected content creators from around the world. It's a slow build, but it's building. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to hold my breath, but I think that's cool. Steve Scalise, last one, Rational. Rebel says Democrats are infringing the Second Amendment. Simple as that. Yeah, absolutely they are. They need that out of our hands if they want to implement socialism. They need the guns out of the hands. I thought we were murdering our children by pouring acid on their skin, tearing their limbs off, and ripping them out of their mother's wombs. Exactly right. I read that late, but I had already covered that. Stephen, is your Make Antifa Go Away song a parody of an actual song, or did you make that rhythm and melody up? That song's all me. That's an original. That's an original. Maybe we'll play that one. Should we play it here in a minute? Just as a tribute to Antifa? Oh, damn. Bah, ha, ha. California Judd says semi-automatic guns are not protected under the Second Amendment. Yeah, that is funny. They are. Because, see, when the Second Amendment was established, it was so that, we all know this, but so that we could have a well-formed and well-armed militia against a tyrannical government. It wasn't just for hunting or self-protection against somebody breaking into your house. That's just a benefit to it. But back then, they had muskets, right? So you could have a musket. And now, as the gun technology increases, so is that a balanced weight of what the citizen gets to have. So if we have automatic, and we're already at a disadvantage because the government gets to have fully automatic weapons, right? And, SWAT teams and police forces can have fully automatic weapons. We don't get that. We get semi-automatic weapons. So we're already at, a 1-to-1 ratio. We're not quite at a 1-to-1 ratio there if we're looking at that way. At Jacob Porter, I'm pretty sure it's an original. I vaguely remember. Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, give it a play, dude. Stephen Weibel, it's legal to own tanks. Yeah, it's exactly. Stephen Weibel said, shout out to my brother, or my nephew-in-law. He's married to my niece. It's legal to own tanks. And it actually is legal to own tanks if you have enough money to have one. And if you have enough money to have one, you should be able to have one, in my opinion. If you're crazy, you're going to use that tank to do harm to people. And then the government's going to come in with their Apache helicopters and their heat-seeking, patriotic, kill you right now dead drones. And they're going to kill you. But if you're a law-abiding citizen, you should have a tank. Do I think it's overkill? Yeah, I do. But I mean, it's like, meh. It's your right to have one. You should be able to have one. Because good people are never going to use their weapons just to go randomly kill other people. Good people are going to use their weapons as tools to defend themselves when they need to defend themselves. So that is the point here. Bad people are always going to find a way to hurt good people when they want to hurt them. They'll use a car like they do in Europe all the time and in London, right? They run people over, and they did it in New York. I believe they did it in New York City. There was a guy who drove a van down there through New York City and killed a bunch of people. People will use cars. They'll use acid, right? They'll use a baseball bat. They'll use a hammer. They'll use whatever they need to do, a piece of rope and string, and strangle you. They'll use whatever they need to do to kill you. And people say, yeah, but you won't be able to kill as many if you didn't have automatic weapons, or if you didn't have assault rifles. And all an assault rifle is a dressed up semi-automatic rifle. That's all it is, right? You can actually hunt with assault rifles. You just can't have the 30 magazine in there. You gotta be in spec of, I think it's 5 rounds or whatever it is, depending on where you're hunting. Your magazine has got to be able to have the right amount of ammunition in it. And they're not called clips; they're called magazines. And everybody on the left always says, "Oh, you put another clip in it." No, that's Hollywood. They're called magazines, not clips. Clip's something you put in your hair, or to hang clothes from. Clothespin. That's a clothespin. Probably not even a clothes hook. Whatever. I want my own tank. Yeah, would take care of traffic stand smarts. Okay, yeah. Here, let's play my song real quick for Antifa, since I got some people that want to hear it, and I love to play it when I can play it. I need to, my Creepy Joe song too has not taken off like it really should have. And I think that's largely due to the fact it's getting pushed way down in the algorithms, I think. Okay, so we'll back that up here. I'll give you guys a full experience, a full screen. We'll go back to the article window and action.
You're the fascist and a fascist Nazi crew. Antifa is the name that you like to use. I've heard you signal, well, it ain't that bright. Because seemingly all you wanna do is fight. The proud patriot your gang loves to hump on one-on-one. You're horrible, but they would punt. You destroy lives with your docs and PR stunts, while you hide behind your mask like silly.
See you next Tuesdays.
Make Antifa go away, go away. There's got to be a roadway with blind drivers where you could play. Make Antifa go away, go away.
She was fine too. She walked away from that. Or they
Maybe
did.
you could go to China and protest there for a day.
That'd be great.
Intolerant hatred, bigotry you spew. If you believe there was a hell, it'd be the red, white, and blue. You hate the very place that made it so you can. Why don't you go and try to pull your silly shit in Iran? You like to scream and cry about society's ills, man. I'm not a big pharma guy, but you need some pills. Your group's 99% of what you call privileged whites. Isn't that the very thing that you claim to fight? Make Antifa go away, go away. The People's Republic of China is where I'm sure you could go and stay. Make Antifa go away, go away. The Mexican cartel, I'm sure, would love to hear
This
what
scene
you
I cut out.
have to
The guy had a
say.
chainsaw and was going to cut those dudes' heads off.
When you're in your group, you act like Billy Badasses. But when you're by yourself, you're like flagellant gases. You promote the very things that you when you're against.
They beat this dude up in Portland.
You by mentioning I had a offense. That Marxist ideology that you've been fed is making your grammar mushy up in your head. You're angry little trolls who are scared to debate. You'd rather stay in your parents' basement than masturbate. Make Antifa go away, go away. You could go visit Kim Jong-il. I hear he's a nice guy, they say. Make Antifa go away, go away. Maybe you could go protest in Russia for 18 years and a day.
Because that's the sentence they would get for protest.
All these little lyrics that I wrote in my head will probably make you tell me that I should be dead. Your thought and speech you think and say shouldn't exist. Ironically, can you not see that's where your ideas twist? You're really not into your golden showers. And here's a news flash, we also don't like white power. We simply love freedom because man, it's sublime. And no, communism's never worked at any time. Not even one time. Never.
No, it's never
like
worked.
literally never worked. Make Antifa go away, go away. You can go down to China and protest there, see what they say. Make Antifa go away, go away. I bet Russia would love to have winners like you there all day. Well, there's a couple more things that I'd like to say that I know it ain't perfect in the US of A. And if you don't like it, man, you are free to leave. Would you consider it if I asked nicely? I said, please. There's many more in line that love to take your place. Who won't go piss, shit, and spit and try to spray us with mace. Who don't mind listening to a different point of view. And who can decide if it's false or it's true.
That would be really amazing if people could actually
Wouldn't that be
debate.
kinda
That's the whole point here, you know, and talk. That'd be awesome.
Make Antifa go away, go away. Maybe you could go to China and see how great communism pays. Make Antifa go away, go away. The Mexican cartel are gentle and they
cartel
love
there.
to hear
I said
what
cartel.
you
My
say. Make Antifa go away, go away. Watch out for that red truck. Ooh, ouch, karma's a bitch, they say. Make Antifa go away.
That's a great idea,
go
to
away.
Photoshop that truck with a MAGA on
Maybe
it.
the
That's a great
Republic
idea.
of China, you
Oh, I wish I would have thought of
there
that.
and simply stay
Yeah, we might have to do another one.
at a fish fillet and by their stinky
MAGA truck.
just go away.
Oh, that's a great idea, Gator.
I'd even may hear you say you'll go away, far, far away. Please go away. They say like Antarctica's nice, Syria.
Antarctica,
I mean,
Syria.
ISIS, they love your guys' voice and clothing, so maybe try them out. I don't know. Can you go?
Oh, that was a fun song to do, actually. That was fun. There you guys go. That was by popular request. That's why I did that. It's not just because I wanted to bolster my own song, but it was still fun. So, Stephen, what do I think? You asked, what do I think about people dismissing what happened to Andy No because they claimed he wasn't a real journalist? So, yeah, no, they've been after Andy down here in the Portland area, and you watched a lot of the Antifa videos. He documents them all, or many of them, and they know him. They hate him because he calls their shit out for what it is, and he calls them out for who they are, and they hate him for it. So, yeah, I think that is an absolute, it's to be expected from them, but I think it's just such a travesty that they would say he's not. He's an amazing journalist. He uncovers stuff about these organizations that many people don't know. He's a man on the street videotaping stuff, and now he has actually permanent neurological damage from that, and it's going to take many years for his coordination's off. It's affected his speech, and so I hope he gets a big, humongous, fat ass lawsuit out of the city on that one. Against old Ted Wheeler. I feel bad for the cops because the cops are following orders to stand down. It also frustrates me that they don't do more about it, because they will stand by a lot of times and just let it be mutual type combat and just they don't get involved. But they've been given stand down orders from that absolute spineless waste of flesh and space, Ted Wheeler, the mayor. So. It's my top favorite parody of yours. Thanks, Gator. I appreciate it, man. Says, sell that song on iTunes, bro. I'll buy it the day it drops. I should, huh? Ice Ice Baby is my favorite, I think. Jussie Boys is great, too. Yeah, my Ice Ice Baby, I think with all the stuff going on about immigration, it's up to and for me, I only have 500 subscribers, right? So, it's got 3,200 views now, 31 or 3,200 views. It's been climbing the last couple of weeks. It's been getting about 100 views a day. So it's been climbing for the last week or so, which is cool. Who knows? Maybe it'll finally just catch the right person. And it could take off, but who knows? It's still fun just to put them out there. I feel weird that my creepy Joe Biden one's only got 170 views. I feel like that one should be. I'm going to try to post the crap out of that one right after the next Democrat debates, because I finished it up a few days after the debates, so I want to I'm going to post it all over tomorrow when we're getting ready for the next presidential debates, and share that one all over, because that one needs to take off too. Yeah, so I don't know. I hope that answered your question, Steven. So I'll tell you what I'll do here. If you haven't called in yet, if you're in the chat right now and you haven't called in and you want to call in, I'm going to put the number in here. I'm going to take a call right now. Gator, you can't call in right now. Rational, you can't call in. You guys can if nobody else calls in. I'll open it up to anybody. But there's a number. If you guys want to call in and ask a question, it doesn't have to be about anything we talked about. It could be, whatever. We got 10 people in here. So let's take a call from someone. And let me make sure I have my dealio open so I can take one. I think I have it open. We'll do that. And then, I think it'll work. Should work. So somebody can try to call in if they want. If they would be so inclined to call in, the line is open. Give a call. Get on with SJG Perspective. It'll change your life right now. And if it doesn't work, let me know. Try calling in. If it doesn't work, you can try. Lines are open. One at a time, please. One at a time. There's only so many calls I can answer all at once. Oh, this was another little thing that kind of is off topic, but a fun one we could talk about a little bit for a second, too. Anyone wants to call, they can. Yeah, so Rational had the AOC Nirvana one, his Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez Nirvana parody, about 80 subs and got to almost 1,000 views before it was taken down. Since then, my videos have not gained one sub. And hey, look at that. I'm taking a call right now from somebody who's never called in. Hi, can you hear me? You're on the SJG Perspective. Who am I talking to?
Oh, Gator, what's up?
What's up, Gator?
Not a whole lot, man.
You're going to turn that down in the background.
Yeah, I'm going to have to. Damn, I wish that would work. It never works, but.
So, man, how are you, brother?
Doing good. I'm doing all right.
Good, man.
Working, alive.
Yeah, that's good. How's your health doing?
Can't ask for much more.
You feeling better?
I'm feeling quite a bit better. Yeah.
Good, man.
Not 100%, but, people worse than me, so can't be complaining all the time.
Right. Right, for sure. So, hey, what did you want? Did you have something special you wanted to add to our little stream tonight?
No, it was pretty dope because I was talking to my brother about your parodies, and then I went to watch the Antifa parody real quick, and then I come back and you're playing it. So I was just like, yeah, it was awesome.
That's cool. So your brother likes that one, huh? That's cool.
Yeah.
Sweet, man.
He's even watched your parodies a few times since I've showed them to him.
Yeah. That's cool. Is he subbed up to my channel? Does he have a YouTube channel? Is he or a YouTube whatever account?
Yeah, I'm subbed up now.
That's good. Damn straight, man. Damn straight. Stephen Weibel, what is that? What was that little emoji you just put up there? I can't see it. It's so tiny. It looks like a dragon farting. Is that true, or am I misrepresenting what your
That's
emoji?
Gator. That's my emoji.
No, Stephen Weibel. Oh, he said it's an alligator. Okay, it's a gator. Oh, it's a gator. I got it. Okay, that's your emoji. Okay, I see it now. I see
Gator
it.
don't play no crap.
That's right, man. So yeah, dude, what do you think's going to happen on these next? How do you think these debates are going to go off? What's your prediction, or do you have one?
The Democratic or the Republican debate?
The Democratic.
I think the Democrats they're beating a dead horse. Doesn't matter what it is, whether it's racism, whether it's the Mueller report.
Mm-hmm.
They're crying wolf with this racism, and it's not going to pander to the minorities. They're going to see it. It's every little thing Trump does or says, it's racist.
Mm-hmm.
Pointing out statistics and living conditions in the city is somehow racist. Like, it just makes absolutely no sense. They just don't remember the 2016 election and why they lost. It's going to come back and like a snake trying to prosper by eating its tail, you know?
Yeah. No, I know you listen to Tim Pool too. You know, I follow Tim Pool and I listen to him, and you know, obviously there's some political stuff I don't agree with him on, but I really like him. I think he has a really good brain, and you know the way he looks at stuff. But he's been calling this out for months now, and he wants the Democrats to get their crap together because I'm sure he'd like to vote for a good, solid Democratic candidate. But he has just been calling them out, saying you guys are sealing your fate. You know, he is a Democrat, a centrist Democrat, but he's like, you're sealing your fate. You're giving Donald Trump another win because it's absolutely, you're just absolutely stepping on your own hoo-ha. What's up, American Joe? American Joe just jumped in the chat. Everybody give a big shout out to American Joe. He is American Joe, man. If you guys, whoever's watching this far and wide, near and all 9 of you, but later people will watch this. You guys need to check out, and if you have not subscribed to American and Joe, you are missing something out in your life, and you need to get your butts over there and sub up to American Joe. That guy is a true patriot who's doing a lot for content providers right now, and for the small guys too. I mean, he's a pretty good sized channel. He's got close to 40,000 subs, and he's networked, all the way up to a bunch of different people, but he takes time for the little guys like me and some of these other smaller channels, and I really appreciate that about him. He's no respecter of persons, and if you got something good to say, and he's willing to hear it and support you. So I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you, American Joe. That was my shout out, my little homage to American Joe. So, anyways,
American Joe's the man.
You're right, American Joe. I'm 6'5", man. I am not little, but having said that, I don't have 40,000 subscribers yet, but I'm working at it. I'm gonna get there, man. I'm gonna get there. It's gonna happen. So when it happens, it happens. But no, yeah, man. I hear what you're saying, brother. I hear what you're saying. Oh yeah, let me shout that out too. Good reminder of that one. So this Wednesday, I was invited on by American Joe to his Guns and Beard show. If you guys haven't checked that out, a new little segment he's doing and show, it's pretty awesome. So I'm going to be on that on Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. I think it is, or 5:30 or 6. Yeah, I think that's right. I'm going to be on. Is that right, American Joe? Is it 5:30? You told me to be 5:30, but is that our warm up, or are we talking 6 o'clock? We go live. He'll put that out in the chat here. And American Joe, to answer your question, I have Gator on the line, man. I have Gator on the line. He is Gator. Big shout out. I think Gator even beat Rational. Weren't you the first one in, Gator?
I got the first ever call in on the show.
Okay. So let me. I'm gonna get back to that in a second. Let me fix something. The show starts at 5 o'clock. My bad. It starts at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. and I will be on at 5:30. So starts at 5. I'll be on at 5:30. So just for you guys out there listening, make sure you guys come and check that out. That'll be a good time. But yeah, Gator was one of the first. How did you find me, Gator? By the way, did you just find me surfing around on surfing around? How did you come across my channel?
I think it might have been through American Joe, actually.
Oh, okay.
It's either that or I think it was that.
Yeah, I did
I found you. He's the Angry Republican now, but it was Sam Johnson. I can't even remember the name of his original YouTube channel now. And American Joe, I found you guys all about the same time.
Okay.
And just dug your heels in, man, and just been following you guys ever since.
You're a diehard, dude. I love it, brother. Yeah, I think that I did a super chat. I called in. I don't even know if it's a super chat. I think I just called. I was watching American Joe's stream, and he gave me a shout out, and I gained at the time I had I don't know, maybe 150 subs or 100, and I gained 20 people or something like that, 20 or 30 people. I was like, whoa, that was awesome to me, man. You gain 20 or 30 subs when you're a smaller channel. You notice every sub, and then you notice every sub that goes away. I was up to 530 the other night, and I was feeling really good about myself. I checked back a couple minutes later, and I was down to 527. I'm like, I lost 3 people. What the hell? And I gained a couple people, so it was kind of funny, but you know who I also called into and talked to, and I want to get on his show, and I want to get him. I also want to get him connected with American Joe and with Drone Tech. Hey, American, are you connected with Drone Tech, by the way? Drone Tech Politics, man. We need to get you guys. If you're still listening, American, we need to get you guys connected. He is awesome. If you aren't connected with Drone Tech, he's got 78,000 subs. Never heard. Okay, go sub to him right now. And we would love to get you on a couple of we usually do a live stream when we're not busy on Saturdays at 4 p.m. And he's a great dude, man. He's and he does reaction videos to CNN and MSNBC and things like that, takedown videos of him. And so we'll get you connected, and I'll shoot you an instant message on YouTube later and make an introduction. Or hey, you're part of our Discord, right? Here, let me put the channel.
I can't link the channel.
I will. Hang on a second here.
Let
me do it real quick.
Hang on a second. This account the moderator as well.
Oh, yeah. Let me just do this real quick. Drone Tech. No, I want to go right here. Hang out for 1 second. I'll find it. Drone Tech Politics right there. And I'm going to pull him up. Okay, so he's 72. I think he's lost some. He's down to 72, but he is that's YouTube screwing with him, because I think he was up to 77 not too long ago. But you can, when you're at that size, you can lose 5 to 7,000 subscribers like nothing. You beat me.
You demonetized him after his State of the Union upload, and then just about a week or two ago, he finally got remonetized.
Yeah, but but real quick here, American, he's somebody that we also need to get in the circle of just connecting and whatnot too, because that's what he and I have been talking about. And he's also good friends with what's the UK show that they do over there that Drone Tech pushes a lot? Trigger warning. Trigger warning. Yeah. Trigger warning. That's another one. But this is what American Joe's vision is, and a lot of us smaller creators are. It's just networking all of our channels together, just networking us all together, and bringing us in as one. That's really what it's all about. So, and because they can shut one down fairly easy, but shutting us all down, that's a little tougher. So, hang on 1 second here. Wouldn't be my show if I didn't get a call, right? But I'm gonna just send this text real quick. Yeah. So
I don't know.
Wait till you see what's coming. I'm excited, man. I'm excited, American Joe. Drone Tech's been losing subs slowly for a couple of weeks. We are not getting recommended anymore. Yeah, he is Rational Plug AJS channel link. Yeah, it is.
I've been dropping him on Facebook channels too with 70,000 followers and whatnot.
Yeah.
Trying to plug both of you guys.
Yeah. No, we appreciate it, man. We appreciate it. It's you supporters that are just diehards that make it fun and make it worthwhile. we just got to keep our voice strong because they're doing everything they can, man, to take it down. They are for sure trying to do everything they can to take down the, the voice.
Conservative right-wing America.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true. It's totally true. So, well, guys, I've been on for an hour and 10 minutes. This was actually a fun stream tonight. I feel good about it. Some of my other streams, I'm like, I just blabbed along and I didn't say anything of anything. But I felt like we got some good, we had some good times here tonight. But I think I might jump off. I typed gay Americans into the YouTube search engine, and Rational says SJG Perspective. I typed gay Americans into the YouTube. You know what? We don't need any lippy link words out of you, man. Okay, hey, Gator, let me let you go. American Joe wants to call in real quick. I'm going to give him a shot real quick.
Alrighty.
All right, brother.
Turn my phone
Later,
back
man.
up.
All
Have
right,
a good
bye.
night, bro.
All right, you too, dude. Okay. All right. All right, American Joe, I just put it up there. Give me a call. American Joe's going to call in. Yeah. Is this American Joe calling in?
This is. What's happening?
What's happening, dude? How are you, man?
Hey, I want to tell something to you and to Rational Wrong Think and everybody listening. That,
okay.
I went through about 6 weeks of losing subscribers every day. It was driving me crazy.
Yeah.
Because back in February was my biggest month ever. I got like 20,000 new subs in February. I had like 3 or 4 videos that went pretty viral.
Uh-huh.
Big month, gained a bunch of subscribers. And then it was in May that I had a few days, because I track my subscribers live, with my plug-in.
Right.
And I kept seeing negative numbers, like 5, 10, 20 a day. And that went on for 3 or 4 days. And I'm thinking to myself, I just came off of 6 months of gaining. And I was, for 2 months or so, I was gaining about 100 to 150 a day easy.
Right.
And so how do you go from a month of 150 a day gains to negative? And then that went on for 6 weeks. And so I finally realized that if I just sat there and kept doing what I was doing, it would just stay that way, and I'd be stuck. And I was sitting at around 35,000 subs at that point. So I said, screw these people, man. So I just started reaching out to a bunch of people. I put a campaign together to get in touch with Douglas Dakota, because he's a bigger channel, and it's really hard to get in touch with bigger channels. So I told all of my subscribers, go over to his channel, make it known, shout him out and stuff like that. So if I'd have got a hold of him and got a hold of a few other people and just started doing crazy collaborations, and that's how I was able to break through that, smash through that wall.
Yeah.
And in that 2 weeks since I've been stuck at 35, now I'm up another 3 or whatever it is, 3,600 more.
Yeah.
Because of all the collaborations, because they can't, as far as I know, they can't stop you from people sharing your videos or people, coming over organically from an audience, that type of thing. They can stop suggestions on videos.
Right.
They can make it so your videos aren't seen by anybody in the search engine of YouTube.
Right.
But they can't stop the sharing on the Facebook and the Twitters and all those types of things.
Yeah. And, the one thing I've been finding too, kind of my strategy from the get-go was just to try to reach out and network with other people that I like their message and I like their channel, and that's kind of how I started growing. Some of my parodies kind of took off, but I think those subs are better subs also, because you're pulling them from like-minded people that are going to be, I think, more loyal subs too, and more connected to your show, than just somebody that maybe subs, but they don't really hit the bell notification and aren't really that vested. When you're bringing in people that you're getting recommended by other people and whatnot, I think those are almost a higher quality of sub too. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, what you're going to realize when you grow bigger is that it's a very small percentage of your subscriber base that's actually going to be active on your channel.
Yeah, right.
So I've got 30, whatever I've got now, and I've got maybe, well, just say this. I've been promoting my email list since the beginning, okay?
Right.
And I've got 951 people on my email list out of the 38,000 or whatever I've got.
Yeah.
And so it's a tiny percentage of people that are willing to take that extra step of getting on an email list. You know, my live shows, I maybe get 100 to 150 people on a live show, and it's the same people over and over for the most part.
Yeah.
And it's the same people you're going to see comments on your videos. It's going to be the same people you're going to see sharing your videos, but that number is going to grow as your channel grows.
Yeah, right.
But you're looking at it's just like anything. If you've ever done marketing, if you've ever done any kind of marketing, business-related stuff, it's always about numbers, right?
Yeah,
you got to reach 1 million people if you want to get 100,000 diehard followers,
right?
You know, or 50,000. You got to reach 1 million people to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because watch a channel with 3 million people or 4 million subscribers, and you're going to find they have maybe 100,000 active people.
Yeah, well, you take like Mark Dice, and he has 1.2 million, but all of his videos get about 100,000 views right out of the get-go, which is those, like your video today, or one of your videos was, like you said, it was 964 views an hour after you posted it, right? Well, that's, you know, you're going to gain more views as it sits out there for a little bit, but those 964 an hour later is the same consistent number, if you will, of what's on your email address, right? Well, the same thing goes for like Mark Dice, where he's got 1.2 million, but he gets like 115 or 150 subscribers. And if you watch him do the streams too, it's about 1 to 5% of whatever your channel size is. 1 to 5% is about, when I've done the math, it's been pretty consistent, somewhere in that range of who comes in on your to watch your streams and stuff. That's about your percentage, you know, kind of a thing. So typically, so yeah.
And the other advice I would give anybody, like rational wrong thing, or anybody growing out there, is that never forget where you came from. Never forget, you know, because everybody sat there with 10 subs, 20 subs, 100 subs.
Yeah.
We all went there, and we all quickly seem to forget how hard it was to get to that 500, how hard it was to get to 1,000, how long it took, how you kept staring at that sub count number and watching people leave and get frustrated. And so I you know, for the first, I tell you what, I really stopped focusing on sub counts until I got to around 5,000, 10,000, because in those first few thousand, it was depressing, and it made me want to not do it. But, you know, it literally took me over a month before I think I got even 100 subscribers. It was over a month.
Yeah.
You know, and so I started looking at different things like, okay, well, how many views am I getting when I put up on a video? So if I put up a video, what's my average view count? And that's a little bit more enticing to look at, because you can see that grow more organically as you go.
Yeah.
You know, because right now your view counts, I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
But your view counts over the first 3-day period are better now than they were a month ago. I promise you they are.
Yeah.
If your subscriber count's grown, they're better.
Yeah, they are actually.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, my view counts, like I was noticing on like my last stream, it was already over 100 views, and I'm like, oh, sweet, because they were mostly hanging around 40 to 50 views is what I would have, you know, in there when I had 200, you know, 350, 400, and now they're at like 100. And I haven't been putting up clip videos, and which I think will also help, because not many people. I've just been trying to stay consistent with at least putting something up a couple times a week. And right now all I have time to do is a stream, and I don't have time to chop that up yet because that takes time to do. But that's also like, I don't sit through an hour stream, you know, even if I love somebody, typically I don't sit through an hour one of their streams. It's just too much. I don't have that much time, you know, so.
You gotta decide what you want. What is your objective here? If you want to grow your channel quickly, you're going to have to make some adjustments and moves. You're going to have to start putting well-produced clip videos together, even if it's 3 to 5 to 8 minutes is where I find to be the sweet spot on video length. You know, when you start getting above 10 minutes, it's got to be pretty good content.
Yeah.
So 3 to 8, 9 minute videos and regularity is the key, man. Because I tell you what, I went against the grain for the first 3 or 4 months. I said, I want to get to 100 videos uploaded, good quality videos, as fast as I can. So I want them to be good quality, but I want them up.
Yeah.
So I was doing 2-3 videos a day, cranking them out. And to this day right now, I still put up at least 1 video a day, sometimes 2, sometimes 3, and then I do live streams probably 5 times a week.
Yeah, right.
It's a lot of freaking work, man. It's a lot of time I put into this thing.
Yeah.
You know, but it's building and it's growing, so I know it's working.
Yeah.
And so the other thing I would say is when you're looking at little people, like right now you're 500 and some, right? You're 528. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got rational wrong thinking here. He's a little under 200. We got to get rational wrong think up, get him in, help him out, plug him, do everything we can do to help this guy.
Right.
Because you want to treat everybody the best you can on the way up. And let them know that you're and then when you get to a certain point, you don't forget those people, right? Because I give people my cell phone numbers.
Yeah.
I give other content creators my cell phone. They're going to have that cell phone when I'm 1 million subs or 5 million subs, and they can call me whenever they want. Now I answer if I can, if I'm not busy.
Right.
Because and when you do life like that, man, it's going to be paid back to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those content creators are then going to say, "Oh man, SJG Perspective, man, he really helped me out when I was growing, and I just want to give a shout out to him."
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure.
I'm not saying do it for those rewards, but if you just live life in that way, life is better for me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I appreciate it, dude. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you, man. You're awesome, and you're putting your money where your mouth is. So that's what I appreciate too. Is that that's what you've done. You've done with me too. You've promoted me, and so I will always appreciate that and remember that for sure. Appreciate it.
All right, bro. Well, I'll let you get to bed here, and
all right, man.
Say goodnight to all your chat room people there. Gator, Rational Wrong Thing, Jacob, whoever else is hanging around up in here. I didn't see. Good to see you all. And Rational, we'll get together, man. We'll talk after this split.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much for calling in, Joe. I appreciate it, brother.
All right, brother.
See you on Wednesday. All right, bye. All right, guys. So I have got to. I appreciate all those words of wisdom from Joe, and it's encouraging to hear that, and because it's easy to get discouraged. So that's a big appreciation on that one from him. And everybody in the chat room, I really appreciate all you guys hanging out with me tonight. It was a fun video. I am going to try to clip up some of these here. I am going to be on vacation starting on Wednesday, going fishing with some buddies. But I'm going to be going on American Joe's our show, Guns and Beard, at 5 on Wednesday. And then I might even do some couple little videos out from the pontoon boat when we're plinking for some perch, and just for fun. So stay, maybe keep an eye out for that. I might jump on live if I get some reception out there on the water. But other than that, for Rational, since he's in here, as always, it's SJG Perspective. And if you live in Australia, it's without fear of animals. And if you live everywhere else in the normal world, it's without fear or animus. It's SJG Perspective. Don't forget to subscribe, and I appreciate every one of you guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a good night. Later. Bye.